Good morning, guys and girls. It's Monday. Yes. Should I say it again? These Mondays come around very quick. Anyway, weekend just gone. We've been to the Land Rover show. Ended up getting a bit carried away. Now, I was having a chat with some friends there. Oh, hang on. Before I say that, the Jag. Friday night when I left here, it come up with DPF full and restricted performance, and it wouldn't go above 2,000 RPM. Plugged it, come back up here, plugged it in, and it said EGR and DPF. Now, when I got home, I plugged it in again, and the EGR had gone. It was just the DPF. So I went on the owners club and asked a few questions, and they all said, just get it on the motorway. Just get it on the motorway and give it a good run and see if the DPF will regen. So that's what I did. I had to drive 15 minutes to get to the motorway. Once I was on it, got up to 70, sat there for 5 miles, all the lights went off, it was all happy, the DPF regened. And then I did another 395 mile round trip, and it's absolutely faultless. It was beautiful. So anyone with one of these, or I suppose anything diesel, modern diesel with a DPF, you really got to get it on the motorway and give it a good run, just for the DPF to sort itself out. But anyway, so hang on. So I went to the Land Rover show up at Billing, the off-road show. It's no longer at the Aquadrome, it's next door at the off-road site. So I went there, ended up buying a few goodies. Now, as you know, the Defender has been sat here for quite a few months. Unfortunately, my friend who used to do all my welding for me, he's obviously very, very busy, and it's been sort of waiting for, well, months and months. I can't let it sit here much longer. So instead of getting someone else to make me bits, I don't trust anyone else. I only really trust him because he's really, really bloody good. So I pulled the trigger on another chassis. So I've bought a Mare 90 TD5 chassis, but one of their universal ones. Now, they do universal ones, so you can bolt on a multitude of different mounts. So obviously, if I'd have bought one of them to start with, I know they weren't around back then, but that would have meant I could unbolt the 300 mounts and bolt on the TD5 mounts. So my thought is, if I'm going to keep this forever, then why not buy a universal one with TD5 mounts? So in the future, if I decide to go back to a 300, if I go up to a M57, anything, Cummins, 606, anything, you can unbolt the mounts, bolt in replacements, and you've still got the same chassis. So that's what I've done. So if anybody wants to buy a 300, well, it's a TD5 chassis with 300 mounts, then it's going to be available very soon. While I was there, hang on, I also bought a TDCi fuel tank with pipes. Now, obviously, being an early Defender, well, not even a Defender, a 90, the fuel tank is under the driver's seat. On the later TD5s, TDCIs, it was at the back between the chassis legs. Now, that poses me a little problem because as the tank's under there, the fuel filler's there, whereas on a TD5, oh, mind the lady, it's at the back there. So I also bought a YRM panel for the fuel neck at the back. I also bought the TD5 tunnel, sound deadener. The boots come with it, and the bulkhead mounting panel for the tunnel. Now, I think I showed you before, I bought a TD5 seat box, so we're pretty much ready to go, except for now, I've got to strip the whole thing and put it on another chassis. But yes, it's work, but I haven't got to modify this chassis. I haven't got to get someone in to make the mounts. I haven't got to get them to modify the exhaust. Also, with this fuel system, it means that I've got to put a TD5 fuel pump and level sender in there, but it means I can use the original. Obviously, I'm putting the disco wiring loom in, so it means I can use the wiring to run the fuel pump. I can get some original lines, so there's no making up of other lines. I did buy that other inline fuel pump. I haven't got to worry about that. That can, come out and just go on the shelf for a future project, whatever. So it means that I can, you know, get it back to a chassis and do it how it needs to be done, with the right tank, the right fuel lines, everything correct. The other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to speak to Mayor, because obviously I haven't, although I've ordered it, they're going to email me this week to verify and confirm everything. So what I might inquire about is Disco 2 rear spring mounts all round. So therefore I can put disco bags all round, so then I can have air. With the cage on, it doesn't go in my garage. So I'm thinking if I put it on air, I can slam it, reverse it into the garage, and then bring it out, pump it up again. Disco 2 bags on the back of a Disco 2 obviously have to, I know you balance the trailers, you don't have massive nose weight, but they're designed for 7-seaters, so they have quite a few people in. With a trailer, you know, a load in the back, so they should easily carry the front of a Defender. I'll just go with a tank and pump and paddle valves. I won't go management and stuff yet. So yes, so also I need to get obviously some twin shock mounts for the front, so I can put outboard shocks on. At least then I can run lines down the chassis without the body and all that on. So yeah, it's going to be a lot more work, and obviously a bit more expense. Hopefully I can sell my chassis for a good money. I was talking to a few people at the show, because you have to wait a while for chassis to be made, and you know, people like Richards and Marslands are really expensive. With Mare, obviously, because they're in Poland, you've got to wait. They're saying that my chassis could be worth a few quid once it's ready on the floor. If someone wants one, they can literally come and get it same day, or you know, whatever, and they haven't got to wait for it. So that's the plan. Hopefully I'll get a lot of my money back, but by the time I've saved on employing someone to make mounts and modify the exhaust, hopefully I'll almost even out. And as I say, at least I can do my other plans and other mods like the tank and all that malarkey. So that is this weekend just gone. So what we happening here? So today I have got an MOT at 12. I've got a Discovery Sport, the new one, in for an MOT. I think it's its second MOT. And the rest of the week I will probably be playing with RC stuff, because we've got the national gathering at the weekend. So I need to get my stuff prepped. So I don't know what will be in this video, whether it'll be a long one or a short one or whatever. But there'll be a separate one for the RC. So anyone who's not interested in the RC hasn't got to watch it. Although please watch it all helps. So yeah, so first job today, this morning, is my new cameras, CCTV cameras have turned up. So I'm going to get them installed and get all that sorted upstairs. And then obviously hopefully have that done before the MOT in a couple of hours. So, right, I'll catch up with you shortly. So we got the Jag in my friend's garage this morning because the air kind of stopped working, as I said before, and there's no gas in it. So we're putting some nitrogen through it with some dye to see if we can see where it's coming out from. So hopefully we'll be able to find that out very, very shortly. And there you go, there it is. That aircon pipe was pushed up against the belt. So you can just see that little hole there, that's all that's there. So yeah, I've got to try and get that pipe off and get that repaired. I reckon I can have that welded because it's right on the aluminium bit. The belt's all right, it is just, I think it's hard to tell in this picture, but it was up against the pulley, so I think it was the pulley that done most of the work. The belt, although it has a score mark on it, it isn't actually scored, it's just scuffed. I don't know if I can show you on the belt, hang on. There you go, you can see there, it's not actually scored, it is literally just scraped a bit of the outside off, but it's not, you can't feel any gouges or anything in it, so the belt's okay. So it's just a matter of getting that pipe. It goes onto the pump just there behind that belt. You can't really see, but I can feel it, and then it goes underneath somewhere, so I'm guessing it goes probably to the condenser. Right, well, it's not a job for today, but it's a job for very soon. Good morning, it's Friday, and I've got a new to me customer MOT this morning. Come from a recommendation from a current customer, and it's to MOT their 1 Series. So let's put it in and see how we get on. Well, that's Friday morning done. The BMW passes MOT, a couple of advisories, front shock and a couple of front tyres are starting to perish. So customer was happy with that. They're going to get them sorted out probably by the next MOT. It doesn't go very far. The disco the other day also passed its MOT. Again, same advisories as the year before. Brake discs looking a bit rough, but again, done 6,000 miles. He's going to wait until they really need doing. So yeah, so that's them. That's it for jobs this week. I'm now going to spend the afternoon getting ready for the weekend, off to the National RC Truck Meet. So I've been building a trailer all week. I'm now going to get a couple of the trucks ready. I have done a separate video on the build of the trailer for anyone who's interested. Anyone who's not, don't worry. So right, I'm going to crack on, and I will do an outro or ending for the week a bit later on. Right, so the Volvo has got the original Tamiya motor and gearbox. Ridiculously fast. It's like a bloody race car. I completely forgot when well, it was my first kit when it was the Scania, and I obviously used the Scania for the T-cab wrecker build, and put the Volvo cab on that chassis. Back then, obviously, it was my first one, so I didn't know what to buy, and I've dug it out to use with the new reefer trailer, and it is horrendously fast. So I'm going to rob the motor and gearbox out of my Actros. I'm not going to take it this year. I'm just going to take that, the reefer and the recovery truck, because this has got a few bits that have fallen off over the time. I keep moving it about and not storing it very well, so it needs a bit of love. So yeah, I'm going to take the motor and gearbox out of this and stick it in the Volvo. So let's get on with that. So an issue I was having with the Scania was whenever you put something on the boom, the front wheels would lift off the floor. Obviously the leverage, stopped it. Lifted it off the front. So I'm wondering whether a bit of leak off pipe on the shock to stop the rear end compressing, whether that will help or hinder. Only one way to find out. Right, well that's definitely done the trick. Why didn't I think of that before? I've only done the rear 2 shocks. I think that'll be enough. I still think we need to get a bit of weight on the front, but that's definitely an improvement.